Hey guys, this is Candle, and welcome back to Assassin's Creed 3. We've already seen this cutscene, so I'm going to go ahead and talk over it and explain kind of what happened, because this is kind of weird for me, but this is actually my second time recording this bit of the game. Unfortunately, I had a problem with the original version. The video file for the gameplay and so on got corrupted. And so I had, because of the way this game saves, where it auto-saves like after everything, I had to play through the entire game up to this point again. So that was like 6 hours I had to play through again. Granted, I was able to skip a number of the cutscenes, so that cut down a little bit on the time, but not all of it. I still had to play through like 4.5, 5 hours at least in order to get back here. So that was fun. So now I am once again recording to my internal hard drive rather than my external one. I think the problem was because my internal hard drive is because my external hard drive is connected to my computer via USB. I think it couldn't seem to want to write to it fast enough to at least to start, so that it screwed up the beginning. Basically, the external hard drive I have is designed for USB 3.0. My computer runs USB 2.0 because that's the best that my motherboards will support right now. But yeah, here we are, and we are plugging in the battery. Yeah, this is that area we got a little bit of backstory from the precursors from the first civilization.
Only one way to find out.
Okay, now that that's taken care of, we have the choice of exploring that new area and getting a little bit more backstory from the precursors, listening to all of our friends talk, reading our emails, or heading straight back into the Animus. I think we'll wait on the story from the first civilization until after we've got our next battery from them, so we'll just go ahead and get some stuff here.
Can I ask a favor?
Maybe.
When this is all over, I'd like to try turning the dial back on the Animus. Like, all the way back. To the time of the first civilization.
You think it would work?
There was no real loss of fidelity when you visited Altair. Then again, that was about 1,000 years ago, and I'm looking at going back at least 70,000 more.
Sure, I'd be up for it. Be interesting to see what things were like back then.
Excellent. I think it would prove most enlightening.
What else do you have to say?
This is how it started.
What are you up to?
Just brushing up on my American history. Well, if I say history, they certainly teach you strange things in the States.
Like what?
Well, for all the talk of this being a revolutionary war, it was a civil one. Well, not that kind of civil. I mean, there was no America versus Britain. It was Brit on Brit action. And you can clearly see
Yeah, but the only difference between a civil war and a revolutionary war is who wins.
You mean the 7 Years' War?
Exactly.
I mean, had the American Civil War been won by the South instead of the North, it would have been the Second American Revolution.
Believing that the colonists should help to shoulder the burden, new taxes were created. It was a reasonable request, even if Parliament was rather, well, undiplomatic about it.
Well, it's not really fair to tax people for a war they didn't want any part of.
What? Didn't want any part of? Did you not notice George Washington with Edward Braddock? He was right there in the middle of it. So here you have the Crown spending who knows how much money to secure a place for the colonists to thrive, and then, when they ask for a little bit of help... Right, look, think of it this way. King George and the colonists, they all go out to dinner, right? And when the bill comes, George asks for them to kick in and pay their share. Fair enough. But keep in mind, he's been taking them out to dinner gratis for decades now. The colonists, oh no, they insist they only had a glass of water and a side salad. Never mind the table's full of half-eaten food and empty bottles of wine. Then when the king points this out, what do the colonists do? Oh, they flip the table over and they storm out the restaurant. Probably intending to turn later and burn it down.
You left out the part where the king pointed a gun at the colonists and asked them to cover dinner for everyone in the restaurant.
Right, yeah, interesting take. If he pulled out a gun, And I'm not sure he did. It would only have been after the 100th failed attempt at getting them to pay their fair share.
But how do you define someone's fair share?
Oh, well, with a war, apparently.
I wonder whether or not that's like an honest Brit's take on the American Revolution. Like, if any of you out there are watching this who are British, like, what's your take on the American Revolution?
I wonder how many other places like this exist.
There are dozens of them, all over the world.
And somehow no one's ever found one before us.
I don't think that's true.
Oh?
When I was at Abstergo, Vidic talked about silencing discoveries made by non-Templars. And I'm sure Abstergo has dug up plenty.
The things they must know.
Regretting throwing in with us?
No. Just looking forward to when we can finally trounce those bastards so I can dive into their archives. Oh, I think I found a lead on another power source. Later, Desmond. I'm in the middle of something very important right now.
Okay.
A rule. Just follow that as a rule.
What about Desmond's dad?
I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. You have to understand, I've never been very good at this. Never mind that we live rather extraordinary lives.
Yeah, I kinda liked my ordinary one.
Yeah, you're kind of so bad at this, you can't even
Escape who you
look at your
are,
son
Desmond.
during a heart-to-heart.
So I've noticed.
Look, it's silly for us to go back and forth like this. I admit, I did a shitty job raising you. I apologize, I'm sorry. But it's important you understand it didn't come from a bad place. You're my son. I love you. I guess I was so busy trying to make sure nothing bad happened, I didn't consider the consequences. Truce.
I can't believe it's taken me so long to ask, but... how's Mom? She's not...
No. Your mother is fine. We decided it was safer if we split up for this job.
always assuming the worst.
For good reason.
Can I at least say hi to her?
I'm sorry, it's too risky. Maybe when we're done.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. When we're done.
Come on. Where's the prompt? There we go.
Have we ever tried to make peace with the Templars?
Throughout our history, there have been moments. Several, in fact. But it's impossible. There are existential differences, insurmountable. If there were to be unity, it wouldn't be a truce so much as a submission.
But knowing what's about to happen, wouldn't it make sense to try and talk to Vidic? Come to an arrangement, even if it's only temporary?
We'd all be so busy watching our backs, nothing would get accomplished. Imagine that. We're more productive at war.
Well, have we ever tried sending in someone? Doing to them what they did to us with Lucy? Or Cross?
We have, and it's never worked. We've sent people who were either too weak and found themselves turned, or too strong and were unable to carry out the charade.
I just feel like we all want the same thing.
We use the same words, but that's all they are, words. In the end, it all comes down to freedom. We seek it, they detest it. And so there's never an end to the fight. Not until one side is completely gone.
Is that even possible?
Probably not. Our two groups have existed in one form or another since, well, since forever. But things can be better than they are. And that's something.
Okay, and...
Did you look for me, Dad? When I was gone?
Every day.
Come on.
I mean it. Every night I'd look, searching for your name or variations of it, hoping you'd slip up. Abstergo only found you first because they had better access. A few more days and it would have been me.
Well, I'm here now.
And I'm glad.
Do you think Lucy regretted what she was doing?
I used to think I knew her well, but clearly that wasn't the case. So I really can't give you an honest answer.
She seemed so sincere, though. Like she really wanted to make a difference.
Yes, well, when I first met him, I thought the same thing about Cross.
just keeps happening over and over again.
What does?
Everything.
Don't get weird on me, Desmond.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry.
All right, then. You should think about getting back in the Animus. We've got to find that key. We should probably get back to Connor.
Okay. So, next we'll probably check our email, since that'll be closer than Rebecca. Let's see. Here we go. From Rebecca. Ugh. Sean is really getting on my nerves. You'd think with everything that's going on, the guy would stop being such a douche. Maybe he thinks it's funny, or maybe it's part of his snarky British charm, or maybe it's how he deals with the stress. Whatever it is, it's getting old real fast. We've got enough to worry about, you know, end of the world and everything. You'd think he'd show a little restraint or maturity or something. Sorry, not like you need to hear me venting. You've got enough on your plate. Please don't say anything to him, though. From William Miles. Why it says D. Miles, I don't know, because that's who it's to, not who it's from. In case you haven't noticed, we're knee deep in the shit here. I understand this might not be your idea of a good time. It isn't anyone's idea of a good time. Picking fights isn't going to get our work finished any faster, so I just suggest you stick to the mission. The sooner we're through the door, the sooner we can get back to our lives, or in your case, the lack of one. Dad. From Sean, your father. William's not the most diplomatic man, I'll give you that, but he cares about you very much. When you were under, during that whole bit with 16, he never left your side, even slept in the same room when we put down for the night. Anyway, don't mean to be a busybody, just didn't want you to stay sore with him. Not too sore, anyway. The man means well, even if he's got an odd way of showing it. From Sean, new database entries. Just a quick heads up that I pushed in a new batch of entries focused on the Kanyan Kahaka. In order to ensure accuracy, I actually turned to a friend on the outside. Don't worry, he thinks it's for a presentation, so we're in no danger of being discovered. You'll find a new section under the database labeled, surprise, surprise, Kanyan Kahaka. It has information on their political and social structures as well as some notes about their material culture. And again from Sean, Connor's Piece of Eden. Interesting. The sphere used by Connor during his spirit journey is clearly first civilization in origin. It appears to function as some sort of temporal calculator. It's essentially a crystal ball, but one that actually works. This can't be coincidental, which begs the question, are there others out there? Excuse me. I'd imagine there are. Where do you think we got the idea of the crystal ball from? At least in this universe. From gibberish to gibberish. Gibberish. And then just hello. From binary, I have no idea what that says in binary, if anything. It works. I should hardly be surprised electrical impulses move from one pathway to another. You call them networks. Our word for them is more akin to road. It is yet difficult to project a thought from one medium to another, yet it works, it works, it works. Okay. I have a feeling this is the same person. From Sean about Hatham's blades. I've been doing some digging on Hatham's blades. Still not 100% sure where they came from. My initial instinct was he started out as an assassin. I believe his father was one, in fact. But it appears he was a Templar from pretty early on. Maybe he took them from someone. It's happened before, and they're quite handy. I'm surprised more Templars haven't put them to use. Pretty easy to build a pair if you know what you're doing. From binary again, improvements. I have found a way to better control the impulses to formulate a thought and transmit it to add a sense of structure, a sense of order. You fear order, your kind, the gentle hand tends the flock as a kindness, not a cruelty. I wonder, will you ever understand your enemies do in their own way, but they share your base heritage, their concept is flawed, they are not worthy, you have all proved unworthy of our gifts. So it makes more sense, but it's still a huge run-on sentence. From Sean about Juno. Looks like Juno's really taken a shine to you. I suggest you don't engage her. There isn't time to go down that rabbit hole. It's sure to prove a badger's den besides. This whole experience is, actually. That final door. Salvation, was it? But for us, who knows? Here we sit, working towards something we know next to nothing about, but it's our only chance, so there's that, I suppose. And here's going to confirm my suspicions. Well, somebody doesn't like me. From binary to Sean. Leave him alone. You should not meddle in affairs that do not concern you. So, yep. I have a feeling that binary is Juno. From Sean. All these Juno visits, and emails too apparently, that confirms it, have got me thinking. What happened to Tinia and Minerva? They're the ones who invited us to this little apocalypse party, and now they've gone and buggered off. A little inconvenient, not to mention rude. I'll try and poke around later, see if there's some sign of what happened to them.